Hello ladies and frogs, and welcome back to another video. Today's video is basically just going to be a bunch of me rambling. I've just begun to get a little more active on YouTube with my posting schedule and my interaction with subscribers and people who are interacting with my videos, and boy oh boy has it not taken me long to realize a couple things. So enjoy the speed paint of my OC QB in the background while I bitch for 8 minutes. I'm gonna start off by addressing the elephant in the room. This guy. Yep, that one right there. Yep, that one. Him. Yes. Now, I have a lot of headcanons, especially for My Hero Academia, because I've been watching this anime since I was 14! And which ones are the ones that you think people get the most pissed at? If you said the Blasian headcanons, you would be correct. And especially because recently I've been posting a lot of villain Deku shorts, I've been getting a lot of backlash. I even had somebody in my comments call him a monkey! And don't even get me started on all of the reverse Michael Jackson comments that I get. These come in the thousands, and they're not even that clever. But anyways, over the past couple weeks, since I have been posting all of these shorts and getting all these comments, I'm gonna answer each argument one by one. And I'm apologizing in advance because I am just getting over a cold, so my voice is a little funky right now. So before I get into anything else, I'm going to explain the differences between whitewashing and blackwashing. And I actually posted a comment and pinned it under one of my videos, and I've learned over time that a lot of the people arguing with me in my comments don't actually want to be educated, they just want to be mad. But for the people who do, I am going to use that comment as some kind of script anyways, because I don't think I could have worded it any better. And if anyone wants to read the comment themselves, they can check out my CG5 video. Whitewashing has a history leading back hundreds of years as an attempt to hide and erase people of color and representation in the media. And a lot of people try to make the argument that it happened so long ago and it's something that began so long ago, and so why are we still upset about it? But two modern day examples of this are casting a white woman to play the Scarlet Witch, who was initially a Romani character, and casting Joe Fiennes, a white man, to play Michael Jackson in the show Urban Myths. And there's hundreds of other examples I could get into, truly. You know, and if you want one of the oldest examples, look at Christianity. Did you know that Jesus was initially a black man? Regardless of all that, the official definition of whitewashing is a discriminatory practice that eliminates or replaces the representation of people of color with white characters or people. Whitewashing has always been used as a way to quote-unquote fix certain medias. Blackwashing is a term that was coined by a group of white people that didn't approve of people of color trying to take back their representation. Whitewashing and blackwashing is a cause and effect. White people took away representation, so people of color brought it back by quote-unquote giving them a taste of their own medicine. But regardless, whitewashing has been a term used to describe the practice of erasing representation since the 1800s. Blackwashing was a counter term created in the 2000s, and it in no way shares the same history or ignorance as the former term. And regardless of whether or not blackwashing is a term made in retaliation for whitewashing, and you may think that they're the same in execution and action, they are not the same in history, ignorance, and intention, which is one of the most important things. So basically, one is meant to provide representation, whereas the other is meant to erase it. And a lot of people try to use the new show Velma or the new Little Mermaid movie coming out as some type of roast when discussing blackwashing, and I think that's really, really funny. You can be mad that the Velma show is ass, but you can't be mad that the main character is black. Anyways, now I can get into some of the main arguments people have been making under my videos. The first argument is, Deku is white. And personally to me, anybody who makes this argument is immediately invalidated in my book, because no, he is not! Deku is a Japanese character, born and raised in Japan, and despite his skin color being pale, you do not refer to a person of color as quote-unquote white just because they're pale. And though obviously the term white isn't a term coined by, Caucasian and European people, but when you call somebody white, that's typically what other people expect. So it's basically a courtesy, if anything, to just refer to him as a pale Japanese person. And on that note, let's get into a completely different argument that people make in my videos. Japanese people are pale. I find this to be a very surface level ignorant comment that people tend to make on my videos. But despite popular belief, most Japanese people are actually very tan. The only reason you typically see pale Japanese people being represented in the media is because that is the beauty standard in Japan. And if you want to go one step further, the Japanese beauty industry is known for promoting skin bleaching products and lighter foundations. Things like the skin whitening cream that I'm showing on screen are a very, very common product in Japan. And that's why you'll notice in some of the most common substyles of gyaru that a lot of the makeup has darker foundations and it's girls and boys showing off their darker skin tones, because the whole point of gyaru is to go against the societal beauty standard and the societal norm. So it's not that all Japanese people are pale or Japanese people only have light skin, it's just that the darker skin tones in Japanese culture are very underrepresented because they're seen as ugly and unattractive. Very similar with how it is in America and basically all around the world where, you know, pale skin is the beauty standard. And yes, over time that has begun to change and there has been more representation for people of color in the media. But there's still not enough of it. And if you guys haven't noticed, a lot of that new representation that's coming in nowadays is receiving a lot of backlash. Now on that note, let's get into another one of the arguments that I get. Drawing him darker isn't accurate to the original character design. Well, obviously, but this comment also feels immediately invalidated because, say it with me, you cannot preach accuracy of the design, but only get mad when I change certain aspects. If you guys haven't noticed, Deku isn't the only one I have made changes to. I have given Bakugo hearing aids. I have given Denki freckles and braces. I've made Momo chubby. I like to add diversity of all kinds to all of the characters that I draw. You're not mad that I'm not staying accurate to the original character design, because if you were, you would also be upset about all of those. You're not. You're mad that you're seeing a black person on your screen. Just say that and be done with it. And not to rush, but I'm kind of running out of time here, so I'm gonna get straight into the next argument. You're erasing one form of representation for another. And yes, I know this is also a very common practice, but despite popular belief, I don't condone it. I've attempted to clarify in every single one of my videos that when I draw Deku with darker skin, I'm drawing him as a Blasian person. I'm in no way trying to take away any of Deku's Asian representation, I'm simply trying to add more. Because despite popular belief, Blasian people do indeed exist in real life. And considering that Deku's culture doesn't really play a big part in the show, I also don't find it that big of a deal. I do believe it would be a completely different thing if his entire character point was his culture. But him being Japanese has nothing to do with the plot of the show. Now, the next argument is it okay if I whitewash a black character or another person of color? Now, I know most people who say this are trying to use it as a gotcha moment to try and catch me up on some type of hypocrisy or contradiction, but for people who are genuinely curious, no, it's not typically okay for you to whitewash a person of color. That is a form of erasing representation, like I said, and unfortunately, most plot points for people of color are their skin tone and their culture. And I say that's unfortunate because it's really hard to find accurate representation for people of color where they are just existing as people of color and a major plot point for their character isn't racism or a phobia of some kind. Which leads me into my next argument. There are already people of color in My Hero. And yes, there is Rocklock and Mirko. And I've stated multiple times before, I don't feel like they're very good representation. I feel like Rocklock specifically falls into a lot of different stereotypes, like the quote-unquote aggressive black person stereotype for starters, not to mention that they both experience the stereotypical person of color kill-off where they're in a couple episodes and then get severely injured or die and are no longer in the show. And the final argument for today is it's disrespectful to Horikoshi. I promise you he doesn't care! Anyways, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this very informative video because I will not be addressing any of these comments in the future. Thank you. Anyways, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!